I mentioned a question, or sometimes a misconception, that the Shemitah would not apply or could not have application. Well, the thing is, it already does apply. It's actually, it goes far beyond Israel, even in the Bible. But it actually applies to the end times. And let me show you one way in which it already does. When the 70 years of judgment came on Israel, they represented the 70 Shemitahs that Israel had broken, had not observed. And so what that represents are 70 Shemitahs, and remember, it's every 7th year, so that represents 490 years where the Shemitah was not observed. That becomes compressed, those 490 years, into 70 Shemitahs of destruction or judgment on the land. Well, during those 70 years, God gives a revelation to the prophet Daniel. And he is given a revelation of another set of 77s of years. It's 70 times 7 is 490 years. But these aren't 490 years of judgment as the ones that just passed, or that was happening then. But these are, it says there are 77s of years, or 490 years, until Messiah and until redemption, until God's plan is finished. And that's the 70 years of the 77s of Daniel. But to note, this is the context is the mystery of the Shemitah, which had just taken the same form, 77s, where it became judgment. Now it's becoming the countdown for redemption. And if you go by the 77s of Daniel, and this is in Daniel 9, it's amazing because it gives a mathematical countdown to the coming of Messiah. But if you notice and you go through it, there are 77s, but Messiah comes and it goes up to 69 sevens. There's 1 7 missing, or 1 7-year period, or one Shemitah cycle that's missing. This is all linked to the Shemitah. And what is that 7-year period? Well, that 7-year period reappears in end-time prophecy in the book of Revelation and in other places in one form or another, particularly the book of Revelation. It's in Daniel in one form, but as the tribulation period. When you hear about the tribulation period, that is the last week of Daniel. That's the last 7-year cycle. But the tribulation period, which is the end of the end times, which the end times all heading to the tribulation period when it talks about things that will happen in Israel, happen in the world, book of Revelation, that goes back to the 77s of Daniel, the context of which is the Shemitah. So even the end of history, or the end of prophecy up to the kingdom, is all linked to the mystery of the Shemitah, a final Shemitah at the end.